Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So the messages this week have been pretty incredible and I feel like I'm just getting this running story throughout all the readings. So I'm seeing a lot of the same. It just feels like a continuation from what we've had so far. It's so interesting to me. I just have to laugh at myself as well. I've got this kind of like mother energy coming through. Like we've got Avery matriarch, and like this Empress energy with the Queen of Air and the Queen of Earth on either side of her. So this very motherly energy that we saw in Cancer's reading, pushing through into this reading, and it's making me laugh because I do feel like this kind of grandmother energy to myself today. I've got my hair up in like kind of like curlers, but it's in a wrap. So I've got my hair tied up in this wrap, like on top of my head, like with the ends of a dressing gown cord sticking out like rags, you know, a bit like rag curls. My heating's broken. It always breaks when it gets really, really cold, which is helpful. You know, the boiler breaking when it gets cold is kind of not the point of the boiler, but I've got a hot water bottle and a blanket over me, so I'm sat here with my hot water bottle, my blanket, my hair up in a roller. Like I feel like a little old lady energy, but it's like, oh, it's coming, it's powerful, it's really cool. I really, really like it. So if you've been following this story so far, there's this meeting place that's been coming through. It's coming through as this magic stream. It's like this place where everybody's being called to go, a meeting place, a hidden secret space where people are meeting. So it could be a psychic place. It could be talking about the dream space. It could be hypothetical or metaphorical. I don't know, but it's back here again in this reading. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. In Gemini's reading, it came through with this magician. So there was this magician who was traveling to this place, this magic stream, and on his way, he unexpectedly met these fairies or these children. So it's like a grandfather going to his like favorite space near a lake or something, and then unexpectedly being children playing there, or you know, the magician and the fairies, and these fairies were coming through this interesting like butterfly energy. Which you can see again on this card here. It's interesting that it's the number 3 as well, because there's these 3 energies coming through. So it came through in Gemini's reading as 3 fairies, 3 butterflies, bringing in really positive qualities to the world, like light and hope and inspiration. But then it's like, I didn't understand it properly in Cancer's reading, but I think I do now in your reading, because in Cancer's reading, it was like, seeing these fairy energies as something inconsequential, as something that, you know, almost like, you know, that saying, when you say you don't believe, a fairy loses its wings. It was like Cancer, or this matriarchal energy in Cancer's reading was kind of like burning away the wings of the fairies. Like, you know, this is not important. This is like whimsy. This is imagination. We're not going to pay attention to this. In fact, we're going to burn it away. Where it's almost like, that burning away is almost turning into this big reveal, because in Cancer's reading, they had, in place of the 3 fairies with these positive messages of hope and light and inspiration and all these good things, they had 3 dragons. And now the dragons, where the fairies are kind of like a young playful energy, the dragons are empowered and fierce and ancient, and, you know, just they're coming in with real power, which is so interesting, because this is what I was saying in Cancer's reading. And then we literally have this card here, which is dragon power. So it's almost like, it's like the reference they're giving me is like the dress that sets on fire in Hunger Games, or you know, Cruella de Vil when she walks into the black and white ball and, you know, her dress burns away. It's almost like a big reveal, like, oh, you thought I was this, thing to be played with. You thought I was this sweet, diaphanous fairy, this flighty energy. Well, you know, here's the bigger reveal. I'm actually, we 3, right, are actually these dragons, in a positive way, not a scary way. It's not like the 3 witches of Macbeth or anything like this. It's like, almost feels like, especially with this card here, almost feels a little bit like, Sleeping Beauty, perhaps, you know, the 3 fairies in Sleeping Beauty, and, you know, the Maleficent can turn into this big dragon. I actually saw, thinking about it now, I actually saw a clip from, I think it was Maleficent, on like the second one, where she is this big dragon. So kind of getting Maleficent. I don't know how that fits in, but it could apply to somebody. Um, maybe you know somebody who's like this, but it to me, it's like these three fairies have removed the mask, because what I'm seeing here in Cancer's reading, there was all this like cloaking energy, this masked energy. So you can see here this Empress came out actually in the underlying of Cancer's reading, and now it's like leading your reading. So leading your reading. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. So you can see she's wearing this mask, and this figure was masked in all Cancer's readings. But it's almost like the way I'm seeing it today. Again, even here, like her face is hidden, her face is covered on this darkness card. But it's almost like it's reveal time. So you can sort of see how on this mask, it's almost like the mask comes from the back of the head round the front. It's like, maybe somebody's eyes are covered. Maybe this is like the veil somebody couldn't see. Somebody couldn't see the fairies. They couldn't see the potential of a situation. They couldn't see the value in something, perhaps. But it's coming through with this like, oh, but now they see energy, because you can see here on this Queen of Air card, it's almost like the mask is, it's like the thing that was covering her eyes has now come back like this, like now she sees. Or on this card, and perhaps the children again, perhaps now she sees the children. Now she sees the value. It's a fairy. Now they see the fairies. Now they see the value of the fairies. Something like this. And there's a magician as well. The magician is coming through this Merlin, the dragon energy, and this Hierophant energy. Again, if you look at what's it called? Arthur, The Sword and the Stone. Again, this other animated movie where the wizard and the witch, they kind of turn into these dragons at the end. So there could be something like that going on. But even here with like the Queen of Earth, it's like, again, like with these horns, I'm seeing it as like in a similar way with that Queen of Air. It's like, the horns were covering her eyes, and now it's like the mask the branches have pulled back, like the face has been revealed. The true face of something has been revealed. Like, and she's standing in her power as the Empress. So I want to say it could be one person, you perhaps, Leo, the Empress, standing in her full power as all four queens of the tarot, acting in air and earth energy, which is very, very grounded, very practical, very, very skilled, very knowledgeable, very grounded. But then this air energy as well of ideas and concepts and out of the box thinking and higher perspective and logic and reason and communication. It's like now she's communicating, now she's coming in with this protective, compassionate, intelligent energy. It kind of makes me think of like throughout history, where it's like the men often make the men often make the decisions, the men are the politicians, like generally historically speaking, at least in the West, where but the queen will walk into a room and say, I have something to say, and everybody needs to listen. It's like that kind of energy. Or like the matriarch of Rome, the power women, the women behind the throne kind of energy. It's got that kind of energy to it. It's like the Empress has something to say now. The queens are about to speak, and you better listen, I'm hearing. So it does have this energy. Really interesting that they all came out in a row like this. Like this deck, like, that these three energies, these three powerful female energies should kick off the reading like this. Like no other cards came out. It was very clear, we're here, we want to talk. So it feels like I'm kind of getting it's a comedy, it's kind of poking fun, but it's very tongue-in-cheek. But there's a play called The Lysistrata from ancient Greece, but I think it's Aristophanes, if I remember correctly, or Euripides. I'm not sure now. It's been a while since I studied it. And it's a joke about these women who go on a sex strike. But Lysistrata, she makes a brilliant speech at one point saying, all these political tangles, all these knots that you've got yourself into, it's just like when we unravel yarn. You have to have patience, you have to have calm, you have to work on each knot independently. So she's comparing a very feminine from the time, again, this is ancient Greece, a very feminine you know, the domestic, the household realm, and the skills used in that household situation, and then applying it to politics. It's like these skills are transferable. We have logic, we have reason, we have skills, we have knowledge. Why should we hide this behind closed doors? You know, all these qualities that apply to running a household can also be applied to running a country, because a country is like a big family, it's a big house. It's like this kind of energy that's coming through. It's very cool. It's really, really cool. I'm excited to do your reading. As I started to pull cards, I was like, whoa. Also because it's fitting in with a visual message that I got through meditation as well. Which I guess I'll kind of move into now. So then we've got all this interesting stuff about the gold energy and the blue energy. So this is part of the visualization that I had when I was meditating. So I guess the best way to describe it is through this card first. My tummy's rumbling, I'm so sorry if you can hear that. The dark moon or the void. Like there's nothing. It's this, it could be like depression, or it could be a blank space, or you can see, I don't know, can you see very clearly this woman lying on the floor here? The dark moon, the void. Could be like the sleep space, the psyche, the subconscious as well. But then it's got this energy. It's like as she's sleeping, and again, she's kind of like in this like fetal position. Can you see here? Kind of like one arm across her chest. So it's like as she's sleeping, as she's meditating, as she's sad in the darkness, right? There's two cards about like the darkness, dark matter and darkness, dark moon, the void. Like as she's there in the darkness, something's coming in behind her with this kind of like orb. Do you see the gold orb coming in behind her, and all this kind of like, it kind of ties in against like Aries is reading. I think it was Aries is reading, or it was like you have to stop trying so hard. You have to stop because it's like the pushing towards, like the reaching towards something is always creating a resistance. So when you step into the more feminine energy, when you step into the yin energy, again, sorry to stereotype, gender doesn't apply really to my readings, but I have to be able to explain what I'm getting. So we're talking about the yin and yang, feminine and masculine, which is part of all of us. So we can all step into Empress energy, no matter how you identify in terms of sex and gender. So yeah, it's this, stop being so active and be more passive. You need to be more allowing. You need to be softer. You need to invite things in rather than trying to drag things in. So in this surrender space, this thing is approaching, because here it's, let me just move these very interesting words that came out as clarifiers. Here, like here it is. It's like this big planet, like the supermoon. So it's like going from, again, tying into so many of the readings this week. I want to say like Gemini had this like rest period into a very fast, abundant energy. So it's like here she is with nothing, and then all of a sudden it's, you know, she wakes up and she sees this thing that perhaps she had a back to, perhaps she didn't see it coming in, but I want to say at the same time, even subconsciously, it's something that she's been attracting. She, he, they again. So it's like this gold energy coming in, like, and it's infusing. So I want to say Aries had this thing about being infused with this energy, with this gold energy, which again, very much like the visualization that I've had. So it's then all of a sudden being in this different space where you've gone from the blue into this kind of like gold energy. It's like there was nothing, there was a void, and like here it is, it's coming in. Do you see with all the like this gold sparkles? And look as well, magnetism here. So attraction, like law of attraction, magnetism, what you think about, what you bring about, like the gratitude. But again, it's almost like what was coming in, it could be something like coming, like going through the void space. So the first planet rolling in, going through the void, it could be like void course of the moon or something like that. And then following behind it is this big gold planet. So it feels like you've got the most unbelievable blue eyes I've ever seen. It's like, I don't know, it could be going through like a void period of your life, like a period where you have a lot of lack. You know, you don't know where you're going, perhaps you feel quite lost, but then, you know, the energy that follows it, it's like everything is in a cycle, so everything's just passing through. So like going into the void energy and then coming out of it into the gold energy. It could be talking about, again, yin and yang, sun and moon, you know, the moon being the feminine, the sun being the masculine energy. So it's like it comes in, I want to say there's some kind of masking. It's like whatever the void was, it was masking the gold, right? Whatever this blue purple was, it was hiding this much more powerful energy behind it. Again, in a similar way to how the fairy seemed something dismissive, or something that was small and unimportant. It's something with a huge amount of power, with that dragon energy. It's been hidden behind something that was almost translucent or gauzy, or just something that can be easily dismissed. But then here's the true power coming in, and it's a super moon. It really has that all on, like, nothing to everything thing. And it's coming through with activation energy. Again, the gold very much represents to me golden shadow. So when you do the shadow work, so it could be somebody who's gone through a period of doing shadow work. If you're not familiar with the term, it's not talking about like black magic or anything like that. It's shadow work is recognizing that we are human beings and we are fallible, and we all have perhaps negative behaviors, or and it can be many things, right? It can be addiction, it can be the way we respond to things in a negative way, it can be you know, the devil on our shoulder that tells us we're not good enough, like something like things from the past that we have to work through as we develop our character. And when you shine a light on that shadow, when you shine a light on that devil on your shoulder, you can really utilize that energy into something that's got a lot of creative potential. So this is Carl Jung and the golden shadow we're talking about here. So when I say shadow work, it's like self-development, character development, not hiding away from the worst parts of yourself, but utilizing them to grow and develop as a better human being. So it's like somebody who's gone through the shadow work, gone through you know, that process of like dark night of the soul and this kind of thing, but then actually tapping into that golden shadow energy of like true power, like, and it is very, very powerful. Again, look here with the, you know, the similarity here of all the blue colors and the girl sleeping on the ground. Like, you can barely see her, again, with the kind of shadowing energy, the cloaking energy. You can barely see her. And then here the dragon arrives with that golden orb behind her, like to wake her up, like to wake up her power. So it's coming through with activation. Now, there's no card here that says activation, but Cancer had it in their reading, and I can't find the specific card now. I can't remember which card it was, but they also had this card about this woman who was cradling a violin in Cancer's reading. And again, they were very, very fixed, they were very grounded, they were very earthy, like this Empress energy. Like they were part of it's almost like they were part of the wallpaper. I'm hearing they were part of the wallpaper, like they were part of the furnishings. They were just, you know, it could be like the woman in the office who, you know, has been there such a long time and she's become part of the furniture. That's the phrase. Like, she's become part of the furniture. People don't really pay attention to her. People overlook her. You know, people dismiss her, you know, but then it's like she steps up, like in a moment of empowerment, she steps up and commands the room. A little bit kind of getting like Penelope and Telemachus, where he kind of like sends her back to her room, but it's not like that. It's like this power has been dormant in this woman this entire time, or this group of women this entire time, and they've just, it's like just maybe being part of like the work pool, like they've just completely not noticed. Again, this masculine energy, it's like the masculine energy rising, because the sun represents the masculine. It's like the moon has been this cloaking, secretive energy, like hiding this masculine, empowered energy behind the feminine, soft, gentle energy. But then it steps up and it steps forward. And even though the Empress is a feminine card, she has command. Like, literally, the thing that clarified this attraction, this golden power energy, was the word. I saw command first and then and I saw it this way round. So it could easily be I command, right? I command, or it could be command one, like, because the void card is one, like I command the void, something like this. Oh, really cool at the masculines are, and the masculine's harnessing the power of the moon. So it feels like this intermixing between light and shadow, moon and sun, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, like this. Yeah, again, after a period of self-reflection with like the dark night of the soul or inner reflection energy. So really somebody or a group of people, I want to say 3 people, who have been hidden, perhaps by the universe. Again, it could be like the universe has kept these women in positions where perhaps they've been overlooked, but all of a sudden it's like they step forward, or they step into their power with this activation energy. Because again, it's I was talking about the violin. It was like this woman had a violin in her hands in the Cancer reading, and she wasn't even playing the violin. It was being played by the fairy energy or the spirit energy, where here it's like striking a chord. So again, in Cancer's reading, if you want to go and watch that, it was like the women and the children, they have something to say. They are the ones who are going to strike the right chord. And it's like, you know, stepping up and saying something strikes the right chord, and it activates the next phase. It activates the next energy, from a very grounded, nurturing, fixed position, with this kind of like Gaia, Mother Earth, kind of Demeter energy. It's just very, very cool. I'm excited about this reading. The void was clarified by none, which makes a lot of sense, right? None, there's nothing here. No, there's nobody here. No one here but us chickens, say the women in the crowded around the sacred pool, like the magic stream, kind of coming up with their plans. Toil and trouble, you know, hubble bubble, toil and trouble, bubble bubble, toil and trouble. So I said that they're not the witches of Macbeth, but I remember when I was at university, being in a tutorial, we were talking about Macbeth and the portrayal of the witches of Macbeth. And I remember saying, because I'd read the history of the period and the kind of the things that were happening. And, you know, in the villages, you know, there were women who perhaps were married, or women who had lost their husbands, and maybe sometimes even their children. And, you know, these kind of spinster women who were on their own. And you know, sometimes if they were seen as a witch, especially under James, they'd often be like shunned and pushed out of the village. You know, they were seen as a nuisance or a burden. And my argument was, perhaps the witches of Macbeth were these kind of these women who had been pushed out of the society, you know, ran out of the village, and perhaps they banded together to form those bonds because, you know, society didn't have a place for them. So I remember having a very a different view on the witches, an empathic view, based on the history of how women could sometimes be treated by Elizabethan Jacobean society during Shakespeare's time. So there could be something like that happening here. I don't think it's literally like the witches, but because they seem wonderful, they're not evil, they're not in the reverse, they're in the upright. I want to say that they're like Lysistrata, right? They are they're undoing the knots, they're undoing the political knots, they're bringing something to the table in a very empowered, outspoken, vocal way that is going to play the right note or strike the right chord. So again, with the energy here of the rainbow, which came through in Gemini's reading, of bringing in messages of hope, of inspiration, very much like muse energy, I want to say. But then it's like they meet here at the sacred spring, at the magic spring. Again, like maybe they were all sleeping around this magic spring, and then this gold energy comes in and empowers them, and then they're off then, again with the blue and the gold, like the imagery like is so clear like throughout this reading. So here they are, and they're making their way to the castle. Now that I'm getting Halsey, I'm heading straight for the castle, they're gonna make me their queen. And there's an old man sitting on the throne. Hello, Hierophant. There's an old man sitting on the throne saying, you probably shouldn't be so mean. We'll see how that goes for him. We know how it worked out for the king in Maleficent, right? Is it King Stephen? Or Stephen. So they're heading straight for the castle. They've got something to say. It's like storming the doors. Like it's like these three women from the village storming the doors of the Kremlin and going up to Putin and being like, "Hey, we need to have a word with you here. Have you thought about what this is doing to the children?" It has that energy. So they're heading straight for the castle and they want to have a word with the king, right? But it's not the king; it's the Hierophant. So it's maybe it's having a word with God. Hey, God, are you listening? Like, what are you playing at here? Have you seen what's going on with the earth? It's somebody in control. It's somebody in a power position. It's somebody in a position of authority. It could be a priest. It could be some kind of government institution. Again, a political leader of some kind. A local councillor. Something like this with the Hierophant. It's patriarchal. And like a powerful patriarchal energy. And the question is how? I don't know. It could be how could you? How could you? But I want to say that the Hierophant is not bad either. Again, it could be, it's almost like the mage, right? It's like he's not the king. He's the advisor to the king. He is the magician in the castle. Like these women are going to see the Merlin character. Like they're going to have a word with Merlin. It could also be how do we rescue people here? How do we save the village? How do we rescue people? How do we do this? Because you've got rescue here as well. Rescue. And then also the magic stream. It's almost like there's some kind of connection there with those two energies. So somebody somewhere is in need of rescue. And it's like, here's the distress signal, right? This rainbow here is the distress signal. So it's like people have seen the distress signal perhaps and they're looking. It's like I always see this as like here comes the rescue team and they're searching for survivors perhaps, but they're missing this person who's down here. It's like you need to check this place, something like that. I don't know how that applies to you. Obviously I don't think every single Leo coming to this reading is a witch who's about to storm the castle and speak to the magician, but it's all metaphorical. It's all metaphorical. So it's female, the feminine within us all, who perhaps has been silenced for a long time, finally feeling empowered enough or feeling activated enough to step up and speak something to a patriarchal figure or a patriarchal group that has been perhaps not necessarily bad, but they need to be informed of something that I feel like they're missing perhaps. So with this rescue card and atoms and building, again with the big silver orb, which is the cloaking orb, and then all these golden atoms that are kind of being picked up from the water, which again is like these commanders, these like female commanders who are being picked up or plucked from the water in some sort of way, is the way it's coming through. It's reminding me of a story of my ancestor who was on the Lusitania when it went down in the water, or like the Titanic, right? And the people who come in looking for survivors, it's like these are the survivors, and they need rescuing, they need picking up, right? So my ancestor, he was almost left in the water. They thought he was dead, and one person insisted on plucking him from the water, and thankfully they did, because he was alive. He was not a direct ancestor. He was like a great uncle. But yeah, so again with this golden blue energy, so there's something like rescuing the survivors or something like this, going to the politicians. It could even be because of what's going on in the world. It could be people petitioning their local representatives or their prime minister or their president and saying, look, we need to go and help these people. We need to go and help the children. We need to go and help the women. How do we rescue these people from this situation? We need to do something. But it's activated and it's empowered a voice that has been hidden or ignored. And I don't think you can ignore this energy. The dragon, the power, and the Avebury matriarch. It's like she storms in, right? She storms into the center of the throne room and says, I've got something to say and you will listen. It's like the mum. It's like the mum of the king or something, Look, I need to not even correct, because the Hierophant in this case, in this reading, again, politics aside, the Hierophant in this read is not doing anything wrong. You know, he's trying to steer the ship. He's trying to keep the community together. He's trying to do what he needs to do. But it could be that he's overlooked possibly 50% of the society, right? 50% of the society is feminine, or 50% of ourselves, our own feminine side. Yeah, so wonderful. This, and then it feels like a collaboration of the feminine and the masculine, a collaboration of Merlin and this Avebury matriarch, who's a wonderful character. I love it. Very Libran. I'm a Libra, so I can absolutely, like, my name is Karen as well, so I can absolutely have those Karen moments where I'm like, I need to be heard right now, you know. And it's easy to dismiss that as somebody who's hysterical or something like that, but it's like, no, you will listen. When I've got something to say, you will listen, and that is empowered. So of course we all deal with Karens who perhaps need to go away and think a little bit more before they speak. But a Libran Empress, an Avebury matriarch Libran Empress, it will be heard, and she will have some very important things to say. Like, she knows what she's talking about, especially with the Queen of Air. The Queen of Air is a brilliant communicator. And the Queen of Earth, she's got the skills to back up what she's saying. This is not somebody that you can dismiss. This is not somebody that you can. And it could be with the fairies, it could be that this person has been dismissed as something that was, you know, silly or flimsy or ditzy, childish perhaps. But she went away and she's back now, and she's back with dragon energy. So, you know, she's a match, right? She's a match. She's a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, I think the Hierophant's going to listen to whatever this energy has to say, and I think there's a collaboration happening in this reading too. Hello, Storm. So some of the songs that came through: Coffee by Tori Kelly and Lotus Flower by Radiohead. When the World Was at War Before We Just Kept Dancing came through again. It came through at the end of Cancer's reading. Well, actually constantly, all morning it's been coming through. But it came through again with you, with a card that fell out in the... Shush, Rain, you're being too noisy. Again, this thing about drowning out your voice could be coming through here with this. Anything that happens in a reading is part of the reading. So there was something about poise. You know, the Empress and the Queens in the Tarot, they have a lot of poise. When the World Was at War Before We Just Kept Dancing, there's a line, girls, don't forget your pearls. So it's like... you don't want to go in ranting and raving with your hair flying and your makeup smudged and you know, a grotty old jumper. You don't want to go in your curlers with your hot water bottle like I am now, because people won't take you seriously. So it's like, if you're going to go and speak to the president of the company, or a CEO, or some kind of patriarchal figure running the show, you know, a boss or something, you want to... The way you dress, again, this is a very Leo thing, a very Libra thing as well. It's like, you need to look the part to be taken seriously. So they're trying to give me a reference, but I missed it. Sort of like a little bit like Legally Blonde, right? She presents as this Barbie doll in pink. It's like, if she was going to go and talk to... You know, there's situations in that film where she's not taken seriously because she's seen as a ditzy blonde, but, you know, she comes back and she shows that she's got the commitment and the skills and the communication skills and the logic and the reasoning to win a court case. Or it's, I mean, I get this again as somebody who presents as girly and ditzy. I'm actually very intelligent, which is why I went to university, to kind of prove it, not just to the world, but to myself as well. And they were giving me another reference, but I didn't quite get it. What is it? I feel like it's out of like a Disney type movie. It's Beauty and the Beast. It's Beauty and the Beast. You know how the witch comes to his door at the beginning where they're reading the book, and she's like, she's all kind of haggard and she's begging for charity, and he kind of laughs at her and throws her out, and then it's like, you know, with that fairy turning into the dragon energy, it's like, you know, all of a sudden she reveals herself to be this beautiful, like goddess, and she's like, well, big mistake, big, huge, I have to go shopping now, you know. So it's that kind of energy. Again, Pretty Woman, again, is another brilliant example, like the women who've refused to serve her, and then she comes back with the money, and it's like, oh, right, now we take you seriously. So there's something about looking the part, or And this could be part of it as well. This could be, with the cloaking energy, it's like almost purposefully being hidden, perhaps to gather some information or perhaps to get close to something while it's like underestimated. It's like, underestimate me. I want you to underestimate me so that when I show up in my full power, you take me fucking seriously. It's that kind of energy. So poison, dignity, posture. Remember your posture. Pearls are a classic, but they can be dissolved. So something about the dissolvability. Again, the dissolvability of the fairy, the fairy wings dissolving, and the dragon stepping forward. It's like there's been something cloaking, or there's been something hiding something that's more powerful behind it. A big storm is coming. The song that randomized for you when I asked for a song specifically for your reading was Boom by Ex Ambassadors, which I mentioned in my Gemini reading, I think, as a song that was playing as I was kind of like walking home. And the line that jumped out to me was, "You can't stop me because my pain is gasoline. You can't stop me because my pain is gasoline." Again, very Libra energy coming through. Again, that's another Halsey song, Gasoline. Or Halsey, I don't know. You can't stop me because my pain is gasoline. So it's like, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. It kind of is phoenix energy, right? The butterfly is set alight, but out comes the phoenix. Somebody else had this as well with the transformation. I want to say maybe Taurus. They had a phoenix in theirs. So you can't stop me because my pain is gasoline. When you try to hurt me, it fuels me to make the change. It gives me courage. This card of courage in the middle. It's like, if you take everything from me and I've got nothing left to lose, that's when you should fear me. That's when I have the most courage. So something like that coming through. A big storm is coming because a power is being activated. This female energy is blossoming. This golden shadow energy is blossoming. I want to say based on kind of some pain or something from the past here with this Six of Cups energy, some nostalgia. Interesting that I should pull a star card out there as well. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to collaborate? Like, do you want war or peace? It seems to be a bit of a question coming through here. But this Empress, this Avebury matriarch, she can stand her ground. She can fight her battles, coming in with a very Libran-like negotiator strategy first. A man alike for war and peace is a classic Roman quote. A woman alike for war and peace. Sue for peace first, but, she's going to fight if she has to fight. She's going to defend what she has to defend. So really interesting reading. What did we have under there? I feel like there was something else. Again, with this, there's the magic stream again with the change. I feel like the change is somebody getting really pissed off and thinking, I'm not going to be overlooked anymore. It could be feminine energy in general. So again, I want to say Halsey's, she writes and she sings about these kind of topics about, the music industry and the problems with that. And in Cancer's reading, they had a Lana Del Rey song where she says, I said Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds in the reading, but the line is Harvey in the Sky with Diamonds. It was Cola by Lana Del Rey. And she says, I won't sing that anymore because partly the name Harvey was in reference to Harvey Weinstein before all the stuff came out about him. And, it's not appropriate to sing that song anymore in that context. So Harvey in the Sky with Diamonds, and he's making me crazy. I feel like there could be some abuse of power that is being stood up to, but in a way where, okay, so if you want to leave the reading there, you can absolutely go. I'm going to talk about the visualization that I had. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I was in this sacred pool space. It was like a fairy garden, which led down to a sacred pool with a waterfall. And I was introduced to some characters. One of them was, there was a young girl and an older man, and there was an abuse of power because I was getting songs like, how could you, that Billie Eilish song, how could you, she was sleeping in your coats and now she's got to get to class. You said she You said you thought she was your age. How could you? How dare you? Will you only feel bad if it turns out they kill your contract? And Billie Jean, the Eden version. Billie Jean's not my lover. She's just a girl who said that I'm the one. But he took her to the hotel room, and you know, it's like denial. It felt like denial. You know, she was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. Everybody wanted her. So when she like adored me, I took her back to my hotel room, and now she's got this kid, and he's got eyes like mine, but you know, she says I'm the one, but you know, she's crazy. Like, it's that kind of energy. So I don't know if this situation has played out for somebody, perhaps for three women who are banding together to stand up to this energy. But there is an energy of making everything golden, right? Which to me is this amalgamation of what was coming through as purple, like purple star energy, which I guess is this Merlin the Dragon Hierophant void energy, like something that's been kept quiet, and filtering it or imbuing it with this golden light, with this Empress energy of evolving it and turning it into something that was new and transformed. Again, with the golden shadow, you take the darkness and you make it into something that's empowered. So I don't know if that applies to anybody. What do I want to do now to close out this reading? What do we have, please, for this reading? Tell me about the golden light. Freedom is yours. Tell me about the blue. Be at home, make your dreams real. Okay. Freedom is yours for the gold. Be at home and make your dreams real for the blue. And there's always enough quiz spirit on the underneath. What else? What do I want to get here? What do I want to do for advice? What do I want to do for advice? I feel like I want to go to the dragons for your advice. Let's read the cards that are on the table then. Avebury Matriarch. I will guide you to discover the best way that you can heal, again with a very mothering, nurturing, intelligent energy. This dragon comes in with the strength and power to delve deep into our ancestral past. Again, could be soulmates, could be past lives even with this card. Our ancestral past, and bring healing. She usually follows the matriarchal line back through the passage of time. She states, the time has come to release the chains that bind the continued pain from your ancestors, which has been passed down from generation to generation. You do not need to own this, as it is not and never was your pain to bear. She reassures us that it's safe to explore old family hurts and release them to her. If she has shown up today in your reading, ask for her wisdom to guide you in the best way to heal the past and move forward in your life. She says, I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal and leave the pain of your ancestral past behind. Old family wounds only fester on a deeper level if not acknowledged and released. They serve no purpose in your journey now. So again, I was talking about the song Zombie by Cranberries yesterday. And the wars of old men, right? The wars of old men. And Cancer's reading was like, think of the children. Like, the children don't care about these old wounds. You know, the children just want to play with the people who make them happy and have fun. So like, why do we hold on to old resentments? Again, this is something that Cancer can teach us about, because they do hold on to the past. So why do we hold on to resentments and pain from the past if it's only going to impact our present on a global scale in a difficult way? Isn't it better to be like children who, you know, if they're not sort of ruined by the older generations, children are very open and playful, and they just want to have fun. You know, they're very accepting. So yeah. If the Avebury matriarch has flown into your awareness today, she wants you to visit an old natural temple, a stone circle, that's interesting, or other ancient sacred site, and connect to the energy of the land there. She asks you to ground yourself and be still and ask for her guidance. Due to her connection with the Avebury Henge, she carries an incredibly ancient energy, that of the old ways, the shamanic healing of the ancestors of England. Her wisdom is as ancient as the land itself. And then let's have a look at Merlin. Interesting, again with the similarities in the numbers, 21 and 13. There's no pattern there in like Western numerals, but in Roman numerals, XX1 and X111, it's almost an inverse of each other, almost. Not really, but that's the way I'm seeing it. The Grand Master Dragons. Merlin the Dragon. Continue your journey discovering what you need to learn, understand, and own. So again, I feel like this is, again, the void energy, the blue energy. Merlin the Dragon, is to give him his full name, is an incredibly large and sage old dragon whose message is one of teaching and learning. If he has found his way into your reading today, his message is this: not all things are as they seem. Some are images being reflected back to you in order for you to understand discernment and learn the lessons of self-trust. Only once you have done this will you discover how to stand in your own power, and power card here, and own who you truly are. The Grandmaster Dragons are able to shapeshift between dragon and human or angelic form. Again, maybe that's the butterfly to dragon thing. In whichever guise he adopts, Merlin is the teacher of the teachers. So heed his wise counsel, the teacher of the teachers. That's very much Hierophant energy. If you are unable to teach others until you fully understand the lessons, you are unable to teach others until you fully understand the lessons yourself. Once you have mastered these, you are in a position of clarity and ownership and can share your wisdom with integrity and power. There's that word again. Until then, hold your tongue and continue your journey, discovering what you need to learn, understand, and own. Only then will you be in a place of authority to share your knowledge with others. If you notice that owls keep crossing your path, know that Merlin is around and willing to share his infinite wisdom with you and show you what you need to learn. He will stretch you and often answer questions with another question. That's the Socratic method, encouraging you to seek the answer from within. He is not an easy Grandmaster to work with, but he will guide you well. I want to read this dragon power as well. It seems to be very, very key for some reason. So number 11. You've fallen asleep on the forest floor. The night was cold as you snuggled into some leaves, and yet you felt warm and comfortable as you slept. In the early morning, you stretch and open your eyes to find a dragon has lovingly wrapped himself around you in the night. He opens his large eyes and looks at you with kindness and compassion, and you know all is well. I'm smiling because, again, this is one of my experience with dragon energy in meditations. It is this, to me, it's this big black dragon that lives at the bottom of a volcano, and like is exactly that experience. Like, I can curl up with it and I can feel warm and safe and protected. It's kind of like a guardian spirit for me. So that really made me smile because it's reminding me of my ideas of what dragon energy is. This card suggests it's time to step into your power and take charge of your life. Look to see if there is anyone in your life who is trying to run the show. Speak your truth and take back authority of your own life. You're ready to stand in your strength. If you've lost or given away your authority to someone or something else, it's now time to reclaim it. If you're holding on to limiting beliefs, or if you're afraid of being shunned, judged, or ostracized, it's time to let go of those limitations. Release any fear of misusing your gifts. True strength doesn't dominate or manipulate. It's a gift from the Creator that dwells within you. You have the spiritual power that's born of sacred love, wisdom, and grace. This ability can heal others and bring light into the darkness. Exactly, the light into the darkness, right? The void, followed by this sunlight supermoon, this big gold supermoon energy coming into the darkness. You are radiant. You are a radiant, glorious being. Dragon Spirit at your side is a mighty ally. He empowers you with healing and restorative abilities. He helps you overcome any obstacle, and he protects you in all areas of your life. So I feel like there's a collaboration here between these two energies, and I want to say that it's evenly matched, which is good, right? That's whatever this is, it's Six of Cups energy, and Six of Cups energy is soulmate energy and equal give and take. It's a very equal energy, not codependent, but co-creative. The spirit of the dragon says, within you dwells the remarkable power to manifest your dreams, gain great riches, and activate ancient wisdom. Again, activation. I'm seeing this is blossoming, but I'm seeing it as activation. Take back your power and express your strength with grace. So I really loved that reading. I thought that was a really, really cool reading. Even the words that came out, I command and everything. So again, I've not set anything up here. This is exactly how the cards came out. And I even, when I pulled, because of this like dragon energy and stuff that's coming through, like I thought, right, I'll use the dragon deck. I'll use the dragon deck and get one more card. And then Merlin fell out, and I looked at the bottom and I gasped, because I was like, that's this energy. Like it's so. And I did actually ask, because I'm recording this on Thursday because I'm working on Friday, so I won't have time to do the reading and have it up on time in the morning if I don't pre-record it the day before. So I did actually ask, I set out the intention, can I have a really clear reading so I understand the message that I need to communicate? And it did, and here we are. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And those of you who are kind of watching all the signs and following this story through, it's incredibly entertaining to me. So I hope it's entertaining to you. And I hope there's stuff in there, even if it's not your personal reading, I hope there's stuff in there that makes us think and gives us stuff to, you know, to filter through and use in our own ways to you know, to improve our own lives and to do that shadow work within ourselves, to get ourselves into that golden shadow energy. So whatever you take from it, I hope it's helpful in some way to you. I hope it's raised your vibration, even if it's just by a notch. And I just, if not, I hope it's at least entertaining to you. Thank you for watching this far. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with anyone that you think may resonate with this reading. It helps out the channel when people do. Leave me a comment if anything particularly resonated. I'd love to hear that feedback. And of course, leave me a like if you liked the video. If not, if you're coming in with that stealth energy, with that under the radar void energy, and you don't want to kind of, you just want to stealth watch, I appreciate that too. I do it myself sometimes, and I appreciate those watch hours as well. So thank you very much for that. All right, guys, do take care of yourselves. I want to say, whoever you are in this reading, you can take care of yourselves, right? You don't need me to tell you that. You're already, you are, if you're not doing it now, something's going to activate that power within, and you're going to be very, very strong and confident, not in a domineering way, not in an aggressive way, in a way where it's like, I have something to say and I will be heard, just empowered, right? All right, do take care. See you again soon, and check out the description box where you'll find a few more songs that may prompt you, may have some kind of something in there to kind of further the reading a little bit for you. So go and check those out. Okay, take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.